being raised in this life because they told us we was black when we really the Israelites. And I don't wanna be no plug, that's all they talking about. I don't wanna be no thug, that's all they talking about. I don't wanna be no hitter, that's all they talking about.
What about his father? You know what his father is? Okay, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Because if he was Korean, then. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So, his grandmother was Korean, right? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, there's a reason why we ask you these things, right? Who's your father? Who's your father? Because in the ancient world, that's why you always hear the ancient people talk about our forefathers. Not to say that our mothers aren't important, because they are very important, right? But when it comes to lineage, it always goes to the fathers in the ancient world, right? So that's very important. You believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because we got these institutions today called the Christian Church that has been lying to our people for the last 400 years, right? And our people are stuck in these places, in these money holes, giving these pastors money, being lied to, man, right? Because they don't tell us, they don't go into the prophecies, they don't tell us who we are. Because if we believe in the Bible, we gotta know that everyone descends from somebody in the Bible, right? So all these people on the face of the earth actually descend from certain people in the Bible. And the Bible only pertains to a certain people that God loves. You ever heard of the Israelites? Who are they? The people of God, exactly. So how do we identify who are the people of God today? These are the things that a Christian church won't tell our people. Because all they want is their money, right? Watch this. Give me Ezekiel. Yeah, and you give me Jeremiah 23.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
So this is God talking to the pastors, right? Which means the people that are guarding the sheep. Don't the people them people that teach in the church, don't they call themselves pastors? God's saying woe, which is an ancient word that means destruction to the pastors, because they scattered their people. Read.
Thus saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith the Lord.
Because of the evil they're doing, because they've been lying to our people, which leads our people to be scattered. So this is an ancient problem, right? Our leadership has been failing us even back in the ancient days, right? And they keep failing us today, right? These Christian pastors, these Muslim imams, community leaders, all they're about is about their money, man, right? And it just came it just came out that there's another indictment with the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement. There's millions of dollars that are unaccounted for, right? That's just another example of what our leaders are doing to our people. So God got some problem with that. So God said He's going to visit the iniquity upon them, right? Now give me that.
This is Ezekiel 34. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel.
He said prophesy against them, right? He's telling Ezekiel to prophesy against the rulers, the leaders of our people. Read.
Prophesy and say unto them, Thus said the Lord God unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel,
Destruction be unto this people. Read.
That do feed themselves.
All they do is just feed themselves. Read.
Should not the shepherds feed the flocks?
Should not these people be feeding us? Right? But all of our people are just pouring hundreds and hundreds of dollars into these institutions, and these pastors are just flying in jets, right? Wearing Prada, Gucci bags to the wives, Right? Read.
Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with the wool.
So you eat the fat, meaning the good portions of food, basically riches. Read.
Ye kill them that are fed. Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with the wool.
They clothe themselves with the finest clothing. Read.
Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock.
But they don't feed our people. They don't feed them spiritually. They don't feed them literally. They don't feed them nothing. Just thinking about our old grandmothers, man, pouring hundreds of dollars into the institutions and churches, but when it's time to pay rent, they don't got it. That's what that money should be going to. So the parishioners, right? Read.
The diseased have ye not strengthened, neither have ye healed that which was sick, neither have you bound up that which was broken, neither have you brought up again that which was driven away, neither have you sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty.
With force and with cruelty have they what?
Have ye ruled them.
With force and cruelty do they rule over us, right? They're cruel to our people.
I'm gonna give you a short testimony. I was about 18, 19 years old probably. I went to a convention in LA, a church convention in LA, right? We had these different, it was like LA convention right into the Staples Center. It's a big old stadium. We were in there, right? Me and my friends, right? It was a church convention. These people were be holy people of God. Pastors, leaders, youth pastors, whatever the case may be. We were in this room one time, right? They passed around a collection plate. I'm like, I don't probably give no money today. My friends didn't get no money, really. You know what they did? There was about maybe 70, 80 people in there. 18 or under, maybe. You know what they said to us? Nobody's leaving unless we get more money. They said, lock the doors. Nobody's leaving unless you get more money. Madness. That's madness. Why does it matter? There's 100,000 people here over the weekend. Chris Tucker was there. You know Chris Tucker, actor. It's a popular place in LA. But guess what? That's all they care about. All they want, give me that Titus 1:10. You can read it, but that's his testimony. And then guess what? This land back off what you referenced. There's a pastor named what's his name? Basically, I think his last name is like Gray. And there was like a big fiasco about what he did with the ties that he got. He bought a $200,000 Lamborghini for his wife. And they're like, wait a minute, what are you doing with our money? Like, that's not what it's for. But guess what? That's what he's lying for, because that's what all they care about. Because when you come into like a when you go to become like a theologian, that's what you do when you learn the Bible. You got to go through the white man's school to learn about the Bible. Because why? Everybody's all love, right? But guess what? He still kills us every day. There's Christian people that are cops that kill us. But I thought you're supposed to be on the morality of the Most High God. Like, but that's not what it's about. It's a systematic oppressive thing that our people are accustomed to, and it starts in if they control your mind, they control what you do, right or wrong. What's your name, sister? Destiny. That's a spiritual name. But anyways, that's the point. He got so much flack for buying his wife a $200,000 car. He had no explanation for it. Like, why are you buying this car with the tithe money? But like I said, that 501c3, like I referenced, where you go to become a pastor and try to develop a church, you sign up with the federal government. It's called a 501c3 charter. It's a tax write-off. So as long as you preach this doctrine that we told you to teach in the theological school, you're not going to get taxed for the money that you're getting. You might have to pay the rent for the school, for the building, you know, the lights, things like that. But other than that, you get to keep everything tax-free. And that's what they do in order to teach lies to our people. And that's been going on since slavery. Because guess what? If you're familiar with slavery in America, how old are you? 23. You're familiar with, everybody knows when slavery happened. What happened in slavery? They taught us the Bible, but guess what? There's something called a slave Bible, where they took out passages of the Bible and only taught us certain things to influence us to be subservient to them. So guess what? When slavery ended, guess what happened? That's when the first church popped up. So we need to keep these people spiritually entrapped in our ideology. That's when they created the first prisons and all that type of stuff. So instead of us learning and reading on our own, because guess what? They used to kill us for reading, right? We couldn't read the Bible, but guess what? When we started reading for ourselves, Nat Turner started reading for himself. You're familiar with Nat Turner? What did he do? Nat Turner. You familiar with Nat Turner? You never seen A Birth of a Nation? Ooh, wait. Look up Birth of a Nation, the movie. Nat Turner was a slave in the 1800s that read the Bible for himself and started a revolution, a physical revolution. They started rebelling against the slave master, started going from plantation to plantation, freeing slaves, in killing the oppressor. That's when we start reading the Old Testament of the Bible, because God, the Christian concept of the Most High is only in the New Testament. God's all love. God's not going to do any harm to me. But guess what? God created good and evil, right? He's the creator of all things. He controls all things. So of course he created evil. He allows it to happen because it's balance. It has to be a balance in the earth. But guess what? If you want to be, if you want to steer clear, as they call it, from the troubles and the worries of the world, you got to be under the Most High's tutelage in His Word. But I don't want to take too much of the brother's time. Read that and get tight.
You can expound on it.
So basically, somebody, Haram, come over here real quick. Sit on the side. Read this.
For there are many, it's like your first, Titus 1 and 10.
Yeah, start at 10. Go ahead. We're going to get to how we prove you're an Israelite too in a second after this. Go ahead.
Titus 1 and 10. For there are many ruling and vain.
Say that again.
For there are many unruly,
Read.
vain talkers and deceivers.
Deceivers. Vain talkers and deceivers. Meaning what? They're speaking worthlessness. Nothing. Read.
Let me read it and then let's see watch this. Actually, in the KJV, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
Deceivers. Well, you're talking about the Christian pastors. Read.
Especially they of the circumcision.
Circumcision is referring to like the Jews at the time. And we're going to prove that you're a Jew. You're actually a daughter of Zion in the Bible. We're going to get it in a second, right?
Whose mouths must be stopped.
What?
Mouths must be stopped.
Their mouths must be stopped, because why? They're spreading lies. If they're going to teach you in a Christian church to believe in Jesus, which is not a problem, that's what most Christian churches teach anyway. But guess what? The theology behind it is based off of a false narrative. Because Christ told people to keep the laws of God. And breaking the law is what? A sin. And people say, oh, we repented of our sins, but we're still sinning. Well, wait a minute. How do you do that if you claim to be a follower of Jesus and Jesus told you not to sin? So you can't be a sinner and say you're saved, because it says in the New Testament as well, people that sin are going to be put to death. So guess what? You can't be a sinner and be saved. You're looking forward to a judgment because you're not following what Christ taught. But keep reading.
Whose mouths must be stopped. Who subvert whole houses.
They subvert whole houses. I mean what? They influence houses to go under. Subvert. If you go underwater, you're subverted underwater, right? Submerged. But that's what it's spiritually, right?
Teaching things which they ought not.
These things they ought not. Why? Like I referenced before, you go to a theological school sponsored by the enemy, the open enemy of your oppressor, the Caucasian man. He's going to teach you that God loves everybody, no matter what you do. The Christian pastor isn't in the hood. They're not on the streets. They're in a mansion up somewhere. They in a Benz, Bentley, right? You feel me? They're doing that because that's all they care about. And technically, if they sign a 501c3 charter, that tax write-off, they're not allowed to talk about certain political things, certain aspects that's going on in the neighborhood. Why? First of all, people don't want to hear that. They want to hear good things, smooth things. They want to hear, oh, if you sow a seed of $100, God will give you 1,000. It's not gambling. He's gambling with God. Like, it's madness. You feel me? Read.
For filthy lucre's sake.
Filthy lucre's sake. Read that from the top again. Straight through.
They must be silenced because they are turning away whole families from the truth by their false teaching.
Wait, read that.
And they do it only for money.
That's what it says in a different translation. For filthy lucre's sake means what? For money's sake. That's why he said before. That, like I said, that tax write-off, what they preaching about, they passed out a collection plate. Like I gave you testimony, they locked the door, told us we couldn't leave unless we gave our money. Like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be God-fearing people. Why do I have to be locked into a room and you gotta pat my pockets for money? Like, that's not what it's about, right? It's about our spiritual guidance. But guess what? There's 50, 60 people in these rooms, everybody gave $10, that's $6,000 maybe. But that's all they care about. But anyways, let's prove you're a Jew. Let's prove you're a daughter of Zion. What made you start reading the Bible, actually? You don't know? What was your belief before the Bible?
Like, I lost my boyfriend like 8 months ago, and my grandma took her Bible.
What did they die from?
She died from brain cancer, and
Ooh,
he
wait.
died from
Oh, he was like recovering from something?
Yeah, he's trying to work with me, like, fentanyl.
Oh man, that's crazy. Sorry to hear that. But we have an answer for that too. But I'm gonna touch on the main topic. Give me that and actually, give me that. Where you at? You got Sirach in there? Yeah, give me Sirach 22 real quick. I'm not sure how you feel about those people still, but I'm pretty sure they're near and dear to you. Sirach 22. Start at 11.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 22, verse 11. Weep for the dead, for he hath lost the life. And weep for the fool, for he wants understanding. Make little weeping for the dead.
Make little weeping for the dead? There's not a problem with weeping. It's basically referencing, well, I'm gonna let it read. Go ahead.
Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest.
He's at rest. Because people believe in heaven and hell. We don't necessarily believe in the concept of hell. That's like a Greek concept. That was like a fear tactic at that time. You're gonna burn in hell with somebody in a pitchfork in the fire. Like what? Like where's that in the Bible? Like that's not in the Bible. But we'll get to that in a second. Read.
But the life of the fool is worse than death.
The life of the fool is worse than death. So the people that you say you passed away, they were at rest spiritually. Even that in Job actually real quick. But keep reading.
7 days do men mourn for him that is dead.
7 days, not literally, because 7 represents the number of completion in the Bible. So however long it takes you to mourn and get over that particular hump, because a lot of people kind of get, paralyzed from people dying and all this calamity happening around them. So I'm not sure if that's you, but I just want to read this context to encourage you in reference to that what you just told us. Read.
But for a fool and an ungodly man all the days of his life.
When you hear about people gang banging, killing each other, like that's a testimony for what people shouldn't do. Oh, he died. He was a drug dealer and pimping and pandering, killing people. Like, why should I mourn for that person? But guess what? It's a testimony. It's kind of like a stain on his name. Because guess what? You bring in somebody's name, like that dude was a fool. Like he did that to himself. Like, so it says you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? You heard that before? That's a concept in the Bible as well. You got something else? Know what you have? Give me that.
This is Job 3 and 11. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost?
Job, when you start reading the Bible, Job is kind of like a precursor to the nation of Israel. He got afflicted by God, and he's going through all this turmoil. He's basically going down a line of reasoning. Like, man, why come I didn't just die? Because I'm going through all this affliction. Why didn't I just die when I came out of my mother's womb? So he's referencing that, and he's going to give a context of what happens when you die. Read.
Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and be quiet.
I would have died. So why did my mother raise me, nourish me, take care of me, for me to experience this? That's what he's going into, Read.
I should have slept.
I should have passed away, Read.
Then I had been at rest.
I would have been at rest. Because like I said, when people pass away, people say, oh, I'm dying, going to heaven and be with Jesus, but that's not what the Bible says. When your body separates from your spirit goes back into the heavenly realm and you're at rest. You don't know good or bad, there's no evil there, there's no nothing. Exactly, we're going to read that as well.
With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves. Or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or as a hidden, untimely birth, I had not been. As infants which never saw light.
So it's talking about everybody, if you're prominent, if you're an infant dying from birth, everybody's going to be at rest. Read.
There the wicked cease from troubling.
There's no wickedness there, there's no trouble there. Everybody's in the spiritual realm at peace. Read.
Even the wicked.
Even the wicked, exactly. Go ahead.
And there the weary be at rest.
Weary be at rest, read on.
There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of their oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is the light given to him that is in misery, and light.
What's going on? You back again, man? It's all good. We here every week, brother. We see you next time.
And life unto the bitter soul.
Exactly. So, just one more precept. He was just basically saying, I'm going through affliction, but when I'm at rest, everybody's going to be there. The wicked, the good, the rich, the poor, babies that pass away at birth. That's all according to the Most High's will. So we don't have control of anything. We think we have control. Like you coming up here was already ordained before you're even born. wherever today is, you came up here destined to meet the Israelites, to prove you're an Israelite. This is already set up in God's ordained ministry to learn who you are. Whatever you do with it, we can't control it. But guess what? We're trying to encourage you. You got a flyer in your pocket. I'm pretty sure you got a phone, watch YouTube all the time. YouTube videos that can prove what we're saying further if you don't have time to come out every week. Everything you can learn. Like I said, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to pray for you, you know. That brother behind you came up out the blue, learned his heritage. We don't teach you the same thing because you're our people and we love you.
And also, like, once you started actually reading and realizing what's the truth of the Bible, we mourn different for our dead because we understand that there's a promise of the resurrection in the world to come, you know what I'm saying? And we understand that everything was ordained from the Most High and everything, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So your grandma is going to be back on the earth. And that's how God's going to do. Give me that? 12 and 7? Where you at? Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
God gave us the spirit. When we pass away, our spirit's in the right back up there. Give me Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna get to the prophecy and why basically one of the main scriptures that all of us up here heard, like, man, like, how did God set this up this way? Like, it is proves to the Israelites are. Give me 15 first, and then give me 45 and 46, and then jump down to what I want. We can really read this whole chapter, but I don't know how much time you got. You got a little bit of time? Hey, all praise to the Most High. We gonna teach. You got questions? You can chime in any time. Go ahead. When you go home and read your Bible, I'm gonna tell you how to read your Bible as well. Give me that in Isaiah, because this is what we're doing actually. Before I read that, this is how the Bible tells you to read the Bible. Because a lot of people just say, "Oh, it's a storybook, it's a fairy tale." But guess what? This is a cultural book. This is for the Israelites. The Israelites wrote this book. So everybody writing this book. White didn't write this book. The Israelites wrote this book. Who you consider the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans wrote this book. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. Whom shall we teach knowledge?
Who's God going to teach knowledge? Read.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
So when you go to a Christian church, they're not going to make you understand doctrine. They're going to spin it. They might read maybe 2 verses for 3 hours and then say whatever they want to say about it. But guess what? All we're doing is reading the Bible. 10, 12, 15, 30 verses. I was up there earlier. Hold on. My bad. Read that.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
It's out? I might be going out right now. I should have brought my other speaker. Read that.
Verse 10. For precept must be upon precept.
Wait, read that last part again. Read that last part again.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. It's not talking about an infant. It's talking about what you have to start with in the Bible, which is the laws of God. That's the basic understanding how the Israelites came to form their heritage. It's probably out. The Israelites started in the wilderness with Moses. You hear about Moses before, sure. Moses delivered the laws of God to him. That's the milk we have to start with, the basic understanding of the laws and heritage of the Israelites. Read.
For precept must be upon precept.
Precept upon precept means what? Law upon law, or verse upon a verse. Read.
Precept upon precept. Line upon line.
Line upon line. Read.
Line upon line. Here a little, and there a little.
Here a little, and there a little. We just read what? We went to Job, read about 4 or 5 verses. I went to Ecclesiastes, read about 1 verse. And it meshes together, right? About when people die and pass away, you're in the spirit world, you're in sleep. That's how it works. You can't just read 10 chapters and say it all goes together. It doesn't make sense that way. Let me give you another example. Ready? Yeah, read the last verse.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
With stammering lips and another tongue, we will speak to this people. Meaning what? This Bible is written in Hebrew and Greek. We're speaking English, right? So, how God set it up, He set it up to where we're going to lose our heritage. We scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, because slavery happened from here to Africa, from Africa to here, all across the world. So He made it to where, this is why people have a problem with King James. King James made it to where the Bible was for all the lower class people. The Bible back at that time was only for the wealthy, the rich. So King James, who was a king at the time, people kind of debate if he was black or not. I believe he was a black man, black king. He made it to where the Bible was for everybody on the common folk, and that's what we have it today. He was in England, obviously ruling as a black king, and he translated his Bible in English, so we can have it today. But obviously there's the Spanish Bible, there's the Haitian Creole Bible. I'm pretty sure there's Bibles in Russia.
Spanish Bible created that.
Yes. Yeah, there's different translations of different Bibles, but the original tongue of the people was what Hebrew. So when you read the Bible in the Hebrew tongue, obviously you're not going to understand it, but you can go back into the lexicon, get the definition of words, things like that. But that's what it means. With stammering links in another tongue, he's going to speak to his people. Meaning what? In the future, we're going to fall away, we're going to go into captivity, and then we're going to learn in English how to read and decipher this Bible. But give me that in Deuteronomy. Give me the main verse. 45.
Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass that thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe and do all his commandments.
If you don't keep the commandments as an Israelite, read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Read on.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses came down from the mountain, gave the Israelites the laws, and if you're going to follow these laws, you're going to be prosperous. If you don't follow the laws, like I said, you're going to be cursed. It's coming to the Israelites. So we don't have to say we're Israelites now, but let's just read it and see what it's talking about because it's a future prophecy. Read on.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. They shall pursue thee.
They're going to pursue you. Read.
And overtake you.
And overtake you. Read on.
Until thou be destroyed.
We're destroyed. Read on.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments.
You didn't keep the commandments. Read.
And his statutes, which he commanded thee.
Go ahead.
And they shall be
They're
upon
going
thee.
to what? Read it slow.
And they shall be upon thee.
These curses are going to be upon you, the Israelites. Read.
For a sign.
For a sign. Read.
And for a wonder.
And for a wonder. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
So the Israelites are going to be cursed forever. Obviously, we know it's not meaning for the rest of time because we know what the world calls Christ is an Israelite, the Jews, and will come back and save the Israelites. That's the common theme of all Christianity, right? Christ will come back and save everybody. But he's only talking about the Israelites because he's a Jew. But give me that. You have a 32 up there? That one? Yeah, give me that real quick. And then we're going to get the main verse. And I'm going to ask you a question.
Verse 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thy enemies.
You're going to serve your enemies, read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
The Most High is going to send enemies against the Israelites to what? And disobey them, right? Read.
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Did that happen in slavery, black people? The yoke of iron, right? Where's it at?
Yeah, I was about to say.
There's one right there. Where's the other picture at? Right here. Well, that's the white one there, man. Right here. The yoke of iron. 2 yoke of iron. But that happened in what? The 1600s, right? That happened, what, almost 2,500 years later. This is Moses telling the Israelites. The Israelites weren't in chains literally in the ancient world, but guess what? The yoke of iron is what? A sign for the Israelites. So if we fell away, we're going to come back and read the Bible, like I said, and learn. The Israelites were put in chains and slavery. That's what the Israelites are. Guess what? Wait a minute. That happened to black people. That happened to Hispanic people. That happened to Native American people. What does that mean? Put two together? Those are the Israelites. Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
So we'll read it from the top of the slide. I want to
Therefore,
make another point.
therefore shall the Lord, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against
So
thee.
it's talking about your enemies, read.
In hunger,
And in thirst.
and in nakedness,
And in nakedness.
and in want of all things.
Does that ring a bell? Do black people own, grocery stores? We used to. We want water, we want drink, we gotta go to their stores, right? We want clothes, That fancy scarf you got on, that head wrap? You didn't buy it from a black person, I'm sure. Did you? Your shoes? That's what we're talking about. The Israelites are going to be at the mercy of the enemy for disobeying who the Lord is. His real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. Can you say that? Yahweh.
That's right.
That's the Lord's name. Christ's name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Meaning what? He is the deliverer. Yahweh means he is or he exists. He just exists. There's no beginning or end. He just exists. That's what it means.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
That's verbatim in the Bible. The Israelites are going to be put in chains. Read.
And Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
What's on the American flag? What's on the Spanish flag? An eagle. What's on the German flag? An eagle. Does that ring a bell? Because that's who the enemy is. We don't have to think twice about they came from us. We're going to get there in a second. That's a great question. I want to finish this. I'm going to answer that question as well. Read that.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So when you look at the history of America, the white man came over here to the indigenous people, Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, Native Indians. They didn't speak English, did they? They spoke a broken dialect of Hebrew, though. That's proof in history. So guess what? They didn't understand the English tongue. So fast forward, when they started signing all these treaties to the Native Americans didn't read it. What is this? I don't know what I'm signing. So that's what got them credence to take their land. First and foremost, they killed them all. But the people that remained, in order to make peace with the white man, I was going to sign this treaty with them to have them stop, taking over my land and, getting all the minerals out of the land, whatever case it may be. But what did he do after that? He still kept doing it, right? Give me that in Psalms 55 real quick. It says that in the Bible. Give me Psalms 49:11 as well. Psalms 55 and 20, and then give me Psalms 49:11.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Fierce countenance, like a warrior, like a fierce, read. Yeah, like a fierce face, a mean mug as they call it. Read.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
They're going to kill old and young. When we was in slavery, they didn't care how old you were. You in the field picking cotton. You on a sugar plantation, picking cotton in the sugar cane. We're going to whip you back if you don't get enough for the day. That's what happened. Read. Jump to 68.
Verse
This is the main verse. I want you to break it down if you can. Go ahead.
Verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there shall ye be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
What do you think that's talking about? Let's read it again.
Saying that, I'm not quite sure because it sounds like it's saying that you're going to be put up for slavery, but nobody's going to want to.
Let's read it slow. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So we already talked about Moses, right? Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. They were bondage to them, right? So this is a future prophecy, like I said. The Israelites are going to go into slavery. Egypt is starting to slavery. Give me that real quick.
Exodus.
Remember something. Yeah, give me that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2.
Read on.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of
Out of the
Egypt,
land of Egypt, which is what?
out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is synonymous with bondage or slavery. So when you read this again, read that.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
We're going to bring you into bondage again. Read.
with ships.
With what?
Ships.
You're going to go on slavery on ships. That's what it just said. Who went on slavery on ships? African Americans. Well, I mean, all Africans aren't the same people. We're not saying that some Africans, but we'll get that later. And quite as careful, Native Americans were on slaves and Hispanics. Because guess what? They couldn't keep the Native Americans at bay in their own lands. So guess what? Yeah, they shipped them to Spain. Ship them to Hawaii. That's where they went. The Philippines. That's where they went. Other Spanish colonies. That's where they went. Black people came over here. Hispanics and natives went the other way. Translated slave trade. That's right. This is written 3,000 years ago. And it manifests in today's time because we're the people of the book. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spoke unto thee.
Same way I'm telling you it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You're not going to see ancient Egypt no more again. You're going to go back into a new Egypt, right?
And there,
Once you get off the slave ship,
you shall be sold unto your enemies.
you're going to be sold to your enemy once you get off that slave ship. That's what happened, right? Go ahead.
For bondmen and bondwomen,
Slave men and slave women, right?
no man shall buy you.
That word for buy in the Hebrew means redeem. Nobody's going to redeem you. So when you look at the annals of history, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, all these prominent black figures that we hear about that try to rally our people around certain, not even just a heritage, but just the ideology of freedom. They killed him. They shipped Marcus Garvey back to where he was from in Jamaica. Because Marcus Garvey is actually more powerful than Malcolm X and Martin Luther King together. You ever Marcus Garvey before?
I remember reading a couple things like wanted to go back to our land.
Yeah, exactly. He had a cruise ship. And he had all the people on the cruise ships, and guess what? What's it called? Yeah, the U.S. Navy stopped him in the middle of the sea, told him to turn the boat around. Go back to, they about to go to Africa, Liberia. Turn that boat around and go back to America. You belong to us. Then they outsourced him. I would say outsourced, but what's it called? They deported him back to Jamaica where he's from. Because he had too much power. Like, they want freedom? Oh, you gotta get out of here.
Following you?
Oh, yeah, exactly. You rallying millions of people around you? Oh, you gotta get out of here. That's not what we want. Because America flourished off the back of slavery, right? They made trillions of dollars off of slavery back in 300-400 years ago. But is that it?
Also,
okay, give me that. You got some? Oh yeah, give me that real quick. That's why I give me that. 55 and where you at? Yeah, you can start at 20. 55 and 20.
The book of Psalm, chapter 55, verse 20. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant.
That's what happened to Native Americans, right? He put forth his hands to be at peace with, hey, let me go in once you show me how to till the land. Because the white man was dying when he first came over. He had the Native Americans teach him how to survive the harsh winters and things like that. Show him how to grow crops, things like that. And guess what? He's at peace with them for a little bit of time. Once he learned how to get over the hump, then he started killing them, giving them smallpox blankets, killing their buffalo to starve them out. That's what happened, Reed. He broke his covenant. Why? There's over, 400 some treaties that the white man wrote with Native American Indians. He broke every treaty. Because what? He's greedy. He wants all the land, all the riches for himself. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth smoother than butter. You get it every day. Politics, right? Vote for me. I'm going to this for you. And then what? Nothing changes. There's somebody's pocket. As long as you pay them enough, they might do a little bit for you. And guess what? For black people? Oh, no. They'll separate blacks and Hispanics as much as they want because they don't want to come together because that's what they're afraid of. Black and brown pride. But that's kind of like what the 60s was about as well. Then all of a sudden, right after that happens, what? Gangs start happening. Drugs magically appearing in the hoods. We didn't bring the drugs there. We didn't bring the guns there. But that's the influence they want. They want us to kill each other. They can sell drugs off of our ignorance. And that's why they have the entertainment industry, movies. We all look at that as success, but it's all a detriment to our society. Because there's no morality to it. There's no morality in killing somebody that looks like you. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. White people do it because guess what? They're naturally violent. Because they kill everybody for this land, right? Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
The words in his mouth were smoother than butter, but war's in his heart. The history of America is all about bloodshed. They got this country by bloodshed. They're going all across the world with their military, committing crimes, heinous war crimes, right? That's your 23. That's just plain as day. We know the history. Read that.
His words were softer than oil.
His words were softer than oil. Hey, we're gonna remove the troops from Afghanistan. That's what Obama said, right? Didn't Obama say that? Are we still over there? Of course we are. We got military bases over there. We got military bases in Kuwait, in Germany, and different war-packed countries over there with Ukraine, things like that. Well, all in Africa for sure as well. Go ahead.
Yet were they drawn swords.
Yep, they were drawn swords. All he knows is violence. That's like how we did in like 1960s, things like that. How we did boycotts and sit-ins and things like that. Like that was kind of like a a slight rebellion in a sense, because the white man all he wants is money, and that's what he cares about. That boycott affected his pockets. So, oh man, we gotta do something about it. That's when Martin Luther King came up. He was already obviously alive at the time. And quiet as kept, he had one of the banker families, the Rothschilds. You heard that name? The Rothschilds are trillionaires. They were writing his speeches. The enemy writing his speeches. So how's that work? Like, how are you defending us when you have a white man that hates us writing your speeches? That doesn't make any sense. But you got something? What else did you have?
49.
What was you about to read?
Deuteronomy 28 and 43 and 44.
Yeah, give me that first.
Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high.
Yeah, that can apply to anywhere we're at in the world. Wherever we're at carried in the world, there's a ruler that doesn't look like us. Like, Barack Obama wasn't our people. He might look black, but guess what? He's from Kenya. The Kenyans ain't going to slavery and all shit. And his grandfather is actually a white man. So, if you know anything about the secret societies, as they say, they have this infrastructure of dictators that they want to put in position of power to influence the country they're in. And they literally have a school, I think you brought out last time.
It's called the School of the Americas at Fort Hood. So basically America trained up all of these dictators from all land in America and taught them how to be a dictator here in America. America has a long track record of overturning democratic nations. But as soon as they stop playing ball, they'll invade that country.
Exactly.
Like the Taliban. Okay. Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt lend to him. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
That's pretty much how it's like the American way. The white man runs the world. If you want to get a job, if you want to go into politics, you got to go through his structure. But guess what? You got to bend and break your morality down in order to have that type of mindset. And in all actuality, if you try to go against the grain, they'll probably kill you.
And also, right here in America, how like when it's saying that we don't have to go to them for loans, but we can't loan them nothing. We have to go to these institutions, like Bank of America, who had their hands in slavery. Wells Fargo, who had their hands in the expansion of the West, millions of Native Americans. These institutions have their hands in their seed money through slavery and killing our people. So that's where we have to go to them for loans. We don't have nothing to loan with them, right?
Yeah, man. And that's just another verse to prove that the Israelites are going to be here in the Americas. These types of people going through affliction. Like, there's some prominent celebrities that you see on TV, but guess what? They had to sell up. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that. People got to do certain rituals and blood sacrifices to get fame, things like that. That's real. Because guess what? Look at all the NBA players, football players that are our people, black and Hispanic people. They don't do nothing in the neighborhood, do they? They don't do nothing. Why? They got to sign that contract, and it literally says in that contract, you better not go back to that neighborhood and support them. Because guess what? Money can change everything. And that's why it's so hard to get ahead. And like, not to say everybody, because some people aren't with the structure and things like that. But as a whole, we're not taught to support each other and lift each other up. You know what I mean? Our people are so selfish, we don't have nothing. And the society that we came up here, oh well, it's either him or me. I can't help him because he's gonna outshine me or he's gonna get above me. I'm not gonna be able to get where I want to.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
That's the first thing about it. Black on black crime, brown on brown crime. We all want to gangbang now. We're cool. We're cool. Kill each other like I said before. We're cool. We're cool. And on the back. When you kill that dude down the street, oh man, you a G. You go to jail for the rest of your life? Oh man, he killed somebody. He's a cool guy. That's madness. Doesn't make any sense. But who made it cool? They promoted on TV. And like I said, I referenced before you came, there was a brother who was the Palestinian? But anyways, I read something yesterday. I found out about. I'm like, man, that's crazy. You're familiar with the Black Panthers, all right? The Black Panthers were a movement to try to support our people, and the Brown Berets, things like that. But there's another movement called the Us movement. Basically, the Black Panthers named them Us because it was kind of like a united slave. They were fighting for the oppressors, and they were warring against each other. Other black groups. Black Panthers were fighting against other black groups, and that's where you get COINTELPRO from. You familiar with that? COINTELPRO, basically, let's just say we're up here doing what we got to do. They send somebody, one of these brothers on the sideline. Obviously they're familiar with this, but just for trying to get the argument, they'll send somebody that looks just like us, agree with us, act like they're down with the program, infiltrate us, and then flip it upside down to have them have an inside man to listen to what we're doing, what we plan on doing, and eventually, if we get too prominent or too established in the structure that we have, they're going to kill you. Or they'll influence it by, okay, well, they're a militant group, and somebody's against them. This was what the FBI did. They would write letters to the Black Panthers saying it was from the Us organization, write letters to the Us organization claiming to be the Black Panthers, saying they're going to do something to each other. So guess what? When they see each other, they say they're going to do this in the letter. But in actuality, it's the FBI writing. Madness. But that's the curse in the Bible. We automatically will do it or not receiving what God told us to be influenced in the Bible. But at the end of the day, there's only going to be a select group of people that's going to return to this information. Everybody's not going to get it. Like I said, we can tell you to a blue in the face what's going on. It's up to God to really put it in your spirit to continue and figure things out and learn as you go. You know what I mean? We might not see you ever again. That's why we got to pour as much knowledge as we can into you before you learn. Whether you hear it or take it and run with it, or go back to Christian church, or who knows? You guys have a journey to fulfill. We don't have the answers in reference to what's happening in the future, but we don't give you what we know, and we're gonna prove it according to history, archaeology, and prophecy. You understand?
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brethren, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall lead. So in this verse right here, it's talking about three persons, right? You're going to have an evil eye towards each other, and that correlates to the violence that we do to each other. It says towards the eye of the wife of our bosom. Now this is talking about issues that hatred within husband and wife, or domestic violence issues, and to the children that the father shall lead. That's what we're written in single parent homes, right? And this is all promised by God as a punishment if you don't follow His will. And this proves that the people in the land of Israel that claim to be Jews, they're not. Because they're not going through this. Who else is going through this? Other than blacks, Hispanics, and Indians. Right? Yes, a lot of it has to do due to the system that is set up. That's why we have single parent households. But a lot of the times, fathers are running out of their children. And this still goes back to the prophecy of God telling us that was going to happen.
Yeah, so that's just history in itself. And I'm pretty sure you agree with what we're talking about, right? You go to the Bible, look at history that reflects what we just read, and it matches together. You know what I mean? And as I said before, those people in Israel, they actually sponsored the slave trade. Those people are white, right? They're quote unquote on the tectonic plate of Africa. Like, wait a minute, I thought Africans was melanated people. But those people are white. Like, this is how you know not the Jews either. A couple years ago, there was a report saying that they have the second highest rate of skin cancer in the world. You know why? They can't handle the sun. Our skin handles the sun. We're not built for the sun. They're gonna die from skin cancer. How does God love you when you're the Jew and you die from skin cancer? Well, no. Like I said, that's why you asked about where they come from. They came from us. But they're basically what you consider a mutant. They're biological mutants. Give me Genesis 25, and then you give me, give me Leviticus 13. And just a sidebar, discovery of ancient America. You know what this is? It's an artifact. It's on the side of a mountain in New Mexico. Paleo-Hebrew writings. Who wrote this? Native Americans did. You know why? Because they're Israelites. This is just one artifact. They can't move it. They try to erase some of it, but it's on the side of a mountain in New Mexico. So that's just like, that's archaeology for you. You can't get rid of archaeology.